Welcome back to Fantasy Intervention. This is the weekly six-pack. I am Juan Carlos Pena, along Corey Spala and the chef James Kriess across the table. We're here to bring you three players whose stock is up and three players whose stocks are down. I'm going to jump right into it, boys, if you don't mind, and we're going to take this nice hybrid brew right here, and it's Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan is age 26 right now, and he's having his moment. He comes into the week with 9 touchdowns, which is the same amount as Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce didn't surpass that number until his season 28, where he was 28 years old. So 4 of those touchdowns for Tonyan have come on this little heater that he's on. It's in the last 4 games. He's averaging 13.9 fantasy points per game. On the season, he is the tight end 4 in total points and seems to be Aaron Rodgers' go-to guy outside of Devontae Adams. As a hybrid at 6'5", 237 pounds, he can play tight end. He can line up in the slot. And if I can add Tonyan this year in Dynasty in the offseason, I would gladly trade away Mike Gesicki or Hunter Henry or one of those guys who's on the same tier but right below him and might have more name recognition and trade him in and try to get myself some Robert Tonyan.
I like it, man. I'm a big fan of Robert Tonyan, man.
Rhymes with Funyun. How can you not like it?
And it doesn't stink like an onion.
Correct.
One guy I really get excited about, and Juan, I'll jump in here and take the next one up in this fantasy six-pack. It's Nick Chubb, and with a name like that, I mean, it gets you excited.
You're excited.
Now, we all know Chubb is an outstanding. I want to see how many times I can say Chubb in this video. Now we all know Chubb is an outstanding back, but some may not realize he's really been taking the bull by the horns when it comes to fantasy production. Chubb stands currently as the running back 17 this season after dealing with an MCL sprain in week 4 that kept him out for 3 games. Since his return after the bye in week 10, Chubb has averaged 19.7 fantasy points per game with 93 carries for 546 yards and 5 touchdowns, and is currently RB2 in PPR formats in that time span. This week, he gets the Giants on Sunday night, prime time, and will be sure to make his presence felt like he did against the Ravens this past Monday night when he had 17 carries for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also caught 2 balls for 21 yards. Just saying. So the Giants, currently 23rd against the fantasy running back, giving up 18.7 fantasy points per game, just let Kenyon Drake have 80 yards and a touchdown on 23 carries last week. So be sure that Chubb will get his fair share on Sunday night is, pretty warranted. For dynasty purposes, I believe Chubb can be considered a foundational piece. With the Browns changing their way of life in Cleveland and focusing on the run to set up play action, that puts Chubb's stock at a premium, and it should be there for years to come. While it's way past most trade deadlines, Chubb can be the piece that you want to focus on in the offseason to either bolster your already winning league roster or a main target in 2021 startups.
I love it. He's an RB1 all day.
I'm drinking to that one.
5 RB.
Well, guys, to complete out the 3 ups for the 6-pack, I'm going to go Dallas Goedert, and this is also specifically talking about Dynasty. So Goddard started off the first 2 games very strong. He had 17 targets and 12 receptions. Then, at the 3rd game, only playing about 7% snaps, he got injured, and then he missed the next 4 games. However, since he has returned, he has seen 6 or more targets in 5 out of those 6 games, and he has 4 or more reception in 5 out of the games as well. I was interested to see what would happen in Jalen Hurts' first career start last week. Goddard saw 6 targets and grabs 4 of them for 43 yards. Seems pretty modest. Zach Ertz is coming back from his injury. Jalen Reagor is teasing his big play ability. And maybe the resurgence of Alshon Jeffrey? Probably not. Hurts only completed 17 passes in that first start. And these next 3 weeks, he is facing the Cardinals, Cowboys, and football team. Now, these teams are fairly modest against the tight end. So if Goddard's production and opportunity is not there, this will provide a slight buy window heading into the 2021 Dynasty off season, especially with Zach Ertz still under contract. let's say that the Eagles do trade or cut Ertz. This means Goddard's value will rise a little bit simply because he will be the tight end one in that offense. Acquire him before any drastic value rise happens, because there will certainly not be any drastic value fall. Cheers.
I dig it. Smart, opportunistic buying.
That's
I like
tasty.
it.
Yeah, I've done an article or two on Goddard. Great candidate for Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
But one guy that I'm starting to fade, and I'm going to start taking us down here, Juan and Corey, is Darius Slayton. And Slayton, a fifth-round pick from Auburn in 2019, made an impact starting with his breakout game against the Bucs in Week 3 last year when he caught 3 receptions on 82 yards. And continued to shine in Weeks 8 versus the Jets and Weeks 11 versus the Eagles, where he went for over 120 yards and 2 touchdowns in each contest. Big boost. This is not the case in 2020. Slayton has only 2 games this season where he broke the century mark and only has 3 touchdowns on the season. Slayton hasn't had a double-digit fantasy game since Week 10 versus the Eagles, where he went 5 for 93 on 77 targets. Even while receiving his fair share in targets with 8 last week against the Cardinals, he only produced 3 receptions on 31 yards. Not the kind of production you were hoping for out of a somewhat called hidden gem last year. It's nearing the 2020 end of the season, so right now in Dynasty, if you own him, you're kind of stuck with him. But he could be an early trade candidate when the 2021 market opens. For now, I'm keeping him in the back of the fridge with minimal hope for him being refreshed next season as a dependable Dynasty asset. Try to add him in any trades when the market opens.
That's got to make you sad with that jersey hanging back there, Chef.
A little bit.
Tough, proud of you, though.
Yeah. You got to be honest about your own guys, man.
Pride to the side.
True.
Well, with that one, Chef, I'm going to take it to a running back, a stock down, a guy that I am not interested in. Also specifically talking about Dynasty here. James Conner. We know him. He's a super talented back, but he just cannot stay on the field. You know, it is time. He had that 6-game stretch from Week 2 to Week 8 where he averaged 16.27 points per game and reminded us of his true potential. But it is time. The reality of James Conner is he is absolutely can be a running back to lead your team to the championship. You just cannot rely on him being on your starting roster. He has only missed 2 games this season, but in his 4 seasons, he will now not have a completed full season. The first 3 seasons, he missed a total of 11 games. And of course, again, this additional 2 games this season, and also likely limiting him in a few more. It is time. Sell to a contender. Sell if you are a contender. Get what you can. He is due a contract too.
Yeah, not a good situation there, right?
Mm-mm.
Not a good situation. And Chef, I'm kind of going to combine Corey's take and your take a little bit, man. And I'm going to take a shot at one of my guys. And I'm a Dolphins fan, and I got to pour out Devontae Parker. Like Corey's saying, I just feel like it's time. Like in 2019, we saw him, and he finished the season as the wide receiver 14. He averaged 15.4 fantasy points per game. But this year, that's down to 11.4, which is the wide receiver 43, which makes him a wide receiver 4. So you're kind of banking on the name. Last year, his yards per catch, 16.7. That was number 11. This year, that's down to 12.1. Last year, he had 9 touchdowns. That was 3rd in the league. This year, he only has 4. That's 35th in the league. He had 72 catches last year, only 56 this year. And he had 1,202 yards last year in his 5th season. He finally started to break out. That's down to 677 this year. And even if you average out the rest of the season with his average, he's going to fall 400 yards short of his total from last year. He's not fading away where he's going to be some kind of old receiver. But if I can, like Corey said, if I can get anything for him during this offseason and bank on the name and maybe the resurgence of the offense, I'm going to have to get rid of Devontae Parker. Maybe not pour him down the drain because he is signed for the next few years, but definitely involve him in a trade and get rid of him.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, man. Definitely.
So
what are you doing?
Tua season, baby.
Tua. Let's go.
Tua season. Bank on that too, probably. Tua Tagovailoa will be the starter.
Right.
Get what you can there with Parker.
Get rid of them while you can. So we give you 3 beers up every week, and we give you 3 beers down, and we cheers with the family. I am Juan Carlos Pena. You can find me at FF One of a Kind, at Join Our Circle _ where everybody over there is doing big things, or at thetiltisreal.com or TIR_pod as well.
And you can find me at the FF_chef. I am James Kriess, the fantasy football chef. Like Juan said, you can find us at TIR_pod. And of course, join our circle _. And if you're watching this video, go check out some quick shots.
Fire quick shots.
We're firing them up. Corey's here for the content, and he wishes you adieu. You can find him at cdotFF on Twitter.
And he's responsible for all that fire content too.
Yes, he is.
Oh, man.
Peace.
Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, let us know if you agree, disagree. Make sure you subscribe again. Join our circle _ on Twitter. Fantasy Football Intervention. One love.
Worst outros in America. Thank you.